Mikel Arteta's arrival at Arsenal in 2019 gave the club hopes of glory days. But instead of silverwares, the Emirates is now filled with excuses. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta continues to come up with bizarre reasons for their losses. The latest will leave you shocked. The Spanish manager has blamed the ball used in the game for their Carabao Cup loss against Newcastle. The loss has almost ended their dream of winning yet another silverware. And maybe Arteta's bizarre excuse is just a way to keep his job. Because ever since 2019, this has been a pattern with the Arsenal boss. 5 years, multiple failures, and hundreds of interesting excuses. Is the Pep Guardiola influence way too much on Arteta? A report.
Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola's effect on Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta is quite evident. Arteta, who assisted Guardiola at City between 2016 and 2019, learned everything under his Spanish compatriot. So, when he made a move to Arsenal in 2019, the club expected similar achievements and dusting heights of success. But instead of bringing Guardiola's obsession with silverware, Arteta seems to have imbibed the Spaniards' version of delusion and blame game. Arsenal is on the brink of losing another silverware. This after their 2-0 semi-final first leg defeat against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. And instead of addressing Arsenal's failure to score and win, the Spanish manager has blamed the ball used for the Carabao Cup.
It's tricky that these balls fly a lot. It's very different to a Premier League ball, and you have to adapt to that because it flies different. When you touch it, the grip is very different as well, so you adapt to that.
It appears Arteta soaked up more than just Pep Guardiola's tactical mind during his time in Manchester. Because Guardiola pointed out the same thing back in 2017 after their Carabao Cup tie against Wolves.
It is not acceptable. The ball was unacceptable for a high-level competition. It is too light. It moves all over the place. It is not a good ball. It is impossible to score with a ball like that, and I can say that because we won. I'm not making excuses.
The only difference between Arteta and Guardiola back then, Manchester City actually won that game. Yes, a 3-1 penalty shootout win, but still a win. And that's why when Guardiola complained, it felt like more of a concern rather than an excuse. One of the reasons why Arteta was mocked after his statement, not just by fans, but also by the Carabao Cup's official handle. The reason behind this taunt is of course Arsenal's failure to cross the line in important clashes. Arteta has been at the helm for over 5 years now. When he was made the manager in 2019, the club was hoping to bring back the glory days, end the Premier League drought and a Champions League first. And Arteta did show some promise every year. An 8th finish in his debut full season, a 5th in second, and then consistent second-place finishes in the last 2 seasons. But were these hopes just a false illusion? Arteta in his spell has managed in 261 matches and won in 158. And although he has won 3 trophies, the only major one was the FA Cup triumph just a few months into the Arsenal job. But ever since then, it has been a story of so near yet so far. Yes, they have managed to win 2 Community Shields, but the more prized Premier League success and a Champions League challenge have eluded them. And the more concerning sign has been a lack of accountability from Arteta. Because even after his failures, Arteta has just come up with bizarre excuses to defend his team and the loss. The excuses have been interesting to say the least, from too much wind to long grass, intense training, and now blaming the ball itself. Arteta has used all possible reasons and he's running out of the blame game too. The only one remaining now is that the other team played better and Arsenal didn't. Because time is running out for Arteta. He can't just sideline the real cause for their loss and blame it on something as inconsequential as the ball being used. Because the opponent who won played with the very same ball. The management has been patient with him, but if the pattern continues, the days now seem to be numbered for Guardiola's student. Maybe Arteta needs to stop mirroring Guardiola's excuses and look to emulate his hunger for silverware instead. That's the only way he can hold on to the Arsenal job.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.